Hello, Hays, everybody. This is Jose Gagnon, the random guy here again. And like I said, from the last video that I made, this will be the very last season 1 episode I'll be doing my commentary on. And then I'll be moving on to continuing on with the season 2 episodes. So I hope that you all enjoy this one. This episode is called James in a Mess, also known as Dirty Objects, which is basically the very first time that James meets Toby, who is a tram engine. And so like I said, hope you all enjoy. And after this one is, finished, I'll be going and continuing on with the season 2 episodes. So hope you all enjoy, and let us get started.
Toby and Henrietta were enjoying their new job on the island of Sodor, but they do look old-fashioned and did need new paint. James was very rude whenever he saw them. "Yuck! What dirty objects," he would say. At last, Toby lost patience. "James," he asked, "why are you red?" "I am a splendid engine," answered James, "ready for anything. You never see my paint dirty."
That's a really random question to ask somebody that you just met just now. Like, oh, you're like, why are you painted red? Like, Toby's crazy, man. Like, asking crazy, just random questions at somebody that you just met. Like, asking, like why they're painted the color that they're painted in. I just find that random and funny a little bit.
"Oh," said Toby innocently, "that's why you once needed bootlaces, to be ready, I suppose." James went redder than ever and snorted off. It was such an insult to be reminded of the time a bootlace had been used to mend a hole in his coaches. At the end of the line, James left his coaches and got ready for his next train. It was a slow freight, stopping at every station to pick up and set down cars. James hated slow freight trains.
So James is basically just like Thomas, pretty much, where he likes to brag about how special he is because of his red coat of paint. Like having his red coat of paint thinks it makes him special in a way, and he likes to brag about it to all the other trains. He also loves to complain a lot, and he wants to he always wants his way, pretty much, where he wants to do the jobs that he wants to do and not do the jobs that he doesn't. But unlike Thomas, who started off thinking he's special but ends up maturing in the later seasons as we go through them, James still has the same mindset and attitude that he likes to brag and think he's special and cool just because of his red coat of paint, and think that he's so amazing, pretty much. So you'll see when we go through the other episodes as well, like he still has the same mindset, pretty much.
"Dirty cars from dirty siding. Yeah!" Starting with only a few, he picked up more and more cars at each station till he had a long train. At first, the freight cars behaved well, but James bumped them so crossly that they were determined to get back at him. Presently, they approached the top of Gordon's Hill. Heavy freight trains halt here to set their brakes. James had had an accident with cars before and should have remembered this.
So, if I was one of the trucks as well, I would totally, try to get back at James for bumping me, because, like, the trucks are important because, they carry the cargo that the trains have to go to deliver to the areas. So, if you damage if you bump them really hard, like you could damage them, and then you wouldn't be able to, deliver your materials and supplies to where they needed to go, or you could, or if you also, and you also could, they could have get broken apart, like if you bump them too hard as well. So, I would totally, do the same thing the trucks would and try to, get back at James for bumping into me. And also how, like, it talks about how he forgets to put his brakes. Like, like, I can't believe he forgets that, man. Like, that's common knowledge when you're trying to slow down. You gotta remember. But, they say that he remembered it just because, he's trying to think of a way to get back at Toby for what Toby had said, making the comment about him using the bootlace for his coaches. Because an episode before this, he ends up breaking the couplings on one of the coaches that he was pulling. So his driver and fireman go and they go to ask the passengers for a thing of bootlaces so that they can, couple them up with the bootlaces. And that way he's able to pull the coaches by having the bootlaces, being hooked up from the coach to his tender. So that way he's able to pull it. But, he was like kind of anxious and, just wanting to show off. That's why he like ended up breaking the coupling.
"Wait, James, wait," said the driver, but James wouldn't wait. He was too busy thinking what he would say to Toby when they next met. The freight car's chance had come. "Hurrah! Hurrah!" they laughed, and banging their buffers, they pushed him down the hill. "On! On!" yelled the cars.
Now you're about to see like one of like the most popular crashes that has ever happened in this show. And this is like, the thing that a lot of people enjoy about the show are the crashes and accidents that all the trains have. So this is like, one of the many popular crashes that ever happens in the show. And, I know a lot of you are going to be enjoying it. So, like, just, just wait and see it when it happens.
"I've got to stop! I've got to stop!" groaned James. Disaster lay ahead. Something sticky splashed all over James. He had run into 2 tar wagons and was black from smokebox to cab. He was more dirty than hurt.
I can't believe like he destroyed like those tar tankers. But like, well, I mean, he was going pretty fast, so I'm guessing that's how he ended up destroying them. But like, look, they're like all like broken up. Like it's crazy, man. And now he got himself all dirty, so now he's gonna get embarrassed. Just like in the other episode I did where Thomas falls down into the mine and he gets embarrassed. So now James is gonna get embarrassed because he's dirty and he doesn't like getting dirty because now his paint isn't shiny and sparkly as it was before.
But the tar wagons and some cars were all to pieces. Toby and Percy were sent to help and came as quickly as they could. "Look here, Percy," exclaimed Toby. "Whatever is that dirty object? That's James, didn't you know?" "It's James's shape," said Toby. "But James is a splendid red engine, and you never see his paint dirty." James pretended he hadn't heard. Toby and Percy cleared away the unhurt cars and helped James home.
Now, basically, James is like one of the many characters that gets into like the most accidents just because, of him bragging. So, after he pretty much, finishes off, bragging about himself, he ends up getting into an accident or a crash. And that's how, he learns his lesson is after he has the accident and crash. Just like the saying, like, whenever you brag, you get payback pretty much. So, he got his payback by having the accident, and now, it's funny, man.
Sir Topham Hatt met them. Well done, Percy and Toby. He turned to James. Fancy letting your cars run away. I am surprised. You're not fit to be seen. You must be cleaned at once. Toby shall have a new coat of paint. Please, sir, can Henrietta have one too? Said Toby. Certainly, Toby. Oh, thank you, sir. She will be pleased. All James could do was watch Toby as he ran off happily with the news.
And now he feels even more miserable because now he just heard that Toby's going to be getting a new coat of paint. And, you can see it, like, how miserable he is, like, hearing that news. He's like, oh, like, he's probably thinking to himself, like, I can't believe that tram engine is getting, a new coat of paint. What about me? Like, look, I'm just all nasty and dirty, man. Like, I needs to be clean and get a new coat of paint too. Like, I can't believe that the stupid tram engine is the one getting the new coat of paint. But like I said, everyone, that was the last episode I'll be covering in season 1. So I hope you all enjoyed. And in a couple of weeks, I'll be continuing on with the season 2 episodes. And basically, season 2 is the last season that, well, George Carlin, actually, his last season he narrates is season 4. But for the season 3 and season 4, I'll be going with the UK version of the narrator, whose name is Michael Angelis, who was the guy who passed away a couple of months ago. So I'm doing it as a tribute to him, pretty much, since he passed away this year. So this will be next season will be like the last we'll be hearing of George Carlin's voice as the narrator, and I'll be moving on with Michael Angelis in season 3. So I hope you all enjoy. Have a great time, and just there'll be more videos to come. So see ya, everybody, and have the greatness.